I'm going to show how we use our Circles on Quilts wreath template. This is template number 16 and it gives us a beautiful wreath. We have a hole here and that hole will locate to a pin which we will place into the centre here. I first marked the block with crosshairs and I'll explain why I put the crosshairs in as we go. I've placed the pin at the centre of my block. I've placed my template over the pin. I make sure that my line that runs through the centre is in line with my crosshair that I've drawn. I've got my machine ready to go and we're going to sew around from A all the way around to B. Then we're going to move back to B1 and turn the template. So we'll do that part. But this is going to be drawing a wreath, sewing a wreath, without having to use a stencil to mark it onto the quilt or draw it. All we're using is a template. So we're coming round. As we get down to the bottom, I'm going to stop here and just move across to B. I'm going to go back to B1. I'm going to stop. I'm now going to turn the template. So I turn the template. If you have a look here, you can see where my template edge is. My template edge aligns with the portion of the wreath I've just sewn. I also have line markings on here and they tell me that I'm in the same position as the previously sewn one. So now we're going to sew and go back to A. When you're working with templates, you will find the position that you like to have your hands in. You might like to be a bit closer to where the foot and the needle are. You might like to be further away. You might run faster or slower. You will find your own rhythm. You will find the position you want your hands to be in. Now that I've sewn that one, I've reached the point where I touch the previously stitched one, and I'm going to backtrack across back to here. I'm going to be going back to A1. So we're just using the template to guide us on the same stitching line that we sewed before. When we come back to our A1 marking, we're going to stop with the needle in line with the line here, turn the template again, making sure that we're lined up on the edge of the one from before, and we can now continue. Back to the B, we'll go back to B1, turn our template, make sure we're in a line from before, and continue. All our wreath templates work in the same manner. We're stitching around the inside of the template. We follow our markings of A's and B's. There will usually be a little bit of backtracking at the top. If you're doing feathers by hand free motion, you would be backtracking somewhere at the top or down the sides of the feathers. So now we're just working back again. Stop when we're in line. Turn the template. Make sure we're lined up over here, and we want our line to be on the position of our crosshair. This way, having the crosshair reference, because we're rotating with our wreaths, we could be rotating 12, 8, 16, 24 times. If we have somewhere to reference back to that we know we're in line with our crosshairs, then when we get to the end, we should end with our template stitching so it ends at the correct position. If we don't have anywhere to check, then we could be out when we get to this part, and when we get to the end we'll be even further out than what we were at the beginning. Remember, if you need to move your hands to get into a more comfortable position, just shift your hands, stop again at the line, come back and backtrack over that top again. Back to our line over here and turn the template. You may notice that I'm dropping my needle when I want to stop. I find that if you stop with your needle in the down position, your work does not move when you adjust the template or move your hands, because the needle actually keeps the foot located, and the foot location is what's important to keep us on the right track. Again, we're stopping and turning. Make sure we're lined up with our template. You may notice that I'm not rotating my fabric. It's my template that's moving and turning. Sometimes I might get into a position where I'd like to rotate the fabric for the next one, so I can do that when I get to that point. Back to here. Now I might rotate, keeping my foot down. I might just turn that fabric a little bit. Make sure it's smooth and turn the template. We're back to where we're lining up with our crosshair again, and my crosshair is lining up perfectly with the line of the centre of the template. So away we go. Backtrack again, stop, turn the template, making sure we're lined up. You'll notice that when I hold the template, I'm actually holding the template with my thumb, 2 fingers on the top. My thumb is resting on the fabric, and my ring finger is also resting on the fabric at the edge of the template. I find this gives me more stability, but how you decide to hold your template is your choice. We do also have grips on our rulers and templates. This is the rotating ones. I tend to find I don't need a grip, but sometimes when I'm using a straight ruler or a curved ruler, I'll find that a grip helps. So we're back to A again, and we're going to turn. When I turn, you may have noticed that the little kick in the edge of the template rests against the edge of the foot. That's another way of giving me a guidance to make sure that I'm always coming back to the correct place. Coming back again, I'm going to line up again, make sure that we're in place. Backtrack. Stopping at our mark here and turning. We're back again to our lineup. My centre line is running down through here, it's on the line, my top one is on the line, so I can go again knowing that when I get to the end I should wind up in place. If you're doing feathers in a wreath or any wreath shape, you want your feathers to be the same size. You don't want to go all the way around from the beginning doing all those feathers and find that when you get to the end you need a feather and a half or a quarter of a feather to finish it so they meet. So when you've got all the markings that we do put on our templates for you, it makes that job of getting round and back to the beginning much easier. Turning, we now have two to go. If I have a look at here where my lines are going to be lining up, it's telling me that should be landing pretty close to where I want to be. So we'll finish those last two. Turn the template again. I can look here and see that I'm in line on here. This one is slightly over. What I can do with that is when I get into this top portion, I can actually make an adjustment if I need to. Now that we've finished the feather, we can remove our template. We can take our threads out and stitch those threads in.